Greetings and welcome to World Music Safari. In this episode, the Apache Violin. So my father-in-law used to work on an Apache reservation in the early 70s, and along with that he was exposed to not only hunting, but the music. And in an unusual case, the Apaches have a stringed instrument. A lot of Native Americans have drums, flutes, things that we're familiar with. However, in this case, they actually have a small violin. Now, it's only got one string on it, and there's not a lot of information. I tried to look it up on Google and tried to look it up on other sites. There is an Apache who makes new ones, but I think this one is at least 50 years old, if not older. When they got this back in the early 70s, it was probably already about 10 or 11 years old. So I have no idea how old this is, but what I do know is that it's very unique and very, very rare. I haven't seen any Apache violins ever, except for one picture on this gentleman who makes these Apache violins. However, in this case, I wasn't even really sure how it was strung. I did notice that the gentleman who makes them plays them underneath his chin, much like a fiddle. In my case, when I go to play this, I'm going to try and play it like an erhu because it just naturally wants to stand on end. So I strung it the best way I could. I wasn't even sure exactly how to string it, so I just kind of went for it. And it sounds more like, I don't know if it was played more rhythmically or if they actually played small melodies on it. I can play a small melody, but it's limited to maybe 5 or 6 notes because of the simple one string. However, I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right, but I do know that it does play, and I'm not going to play it under my neck. This might be influenced by the actual fiddles or violins that the Apaches were exposed to over time, and then they decided to make their own. I don't know if that's true or not. It may have been independently made by them, so if anybody knows the history on this better than I do, please feel free to comment below and let me know a little bit more information about this cool and unique instrument that I have never seen before. So let's give this a shot. So as you can hear, it was pretty scratchy sounding, so I suspect that I might not be using the right type of string. It's a pretty thin little nylon string that I'm using on there, so I suspect if I used a little bit heavier of a gauge, it might sound better, but I don't want to put too much pressure on the yucca plant lest I break something that's 80 years old. So I'm just going to let it go and let it be sort of a conversation piece in my collection. Alright, well that's it for this episode of World Music Safari. I hope you enjoyed your introduction to the Apache violin like I did, and I'll see you next episode.